Oh, snap. Daddy ain't here again. It's just me and my brother. And I get it. You're probably like, wow, y'all don't look alike at all. Like not the skin tone, not the hair color, not nothing. Y'all don't talk the same. None of that. Brothers from another mother. That's all that is. What up? I'm Winston Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blur. That was a really weird intro. It doesn't matter. Welcome to Capes and Cows. We got a lot to talk about today, man. I mean, Peacemaker season 2 has dropped their teaser trailer. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about the fact that Thunderbolts did so well that it looks like the director may be actually taking over that X-Men reboot. The Batman Part 2 is targeting a March 2026 shoot date. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. How many times we hear that with Blade? Yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day is adding the Bear star Lisa Colon Zayas. And there's rumors that Zendaya could be back. We got to talk about that. Jeremy Renner talks about his future in the MCU, and we even are looking at a potential actress for Jubilee. We got a lot to cover, man. So without Kristian, it is just the boys back in town. Myself and Coy are going to be in here doing the damn thing. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's go time. Capes and Cows, baby. Capes and Cows. You already know what it is, man. Gotta say, that was weird. I haven't had enough caffeine yet, and I certainly need to fix that because otherwise I wouldn't have had that wonky intro. Coy, what's good, man? I'm gonna let you try and bring us back from that brink that I put us in.
Just cuts to me. Like hey, we're back. Welcome to the Genealogy Podcast where Winston discuss what makes a family and how brothers are bonded. We both got the light blue memo that shows the brotherhood. We might talk about comic book adaptations. We might talk about family. Who knows? It's the Fast and Furious hour.
Hey man, I'm clearly a little bit on one this morning. I hope you're doing well. I've been sick this week, so I kind of put that in the realm of the fact that because my brain has been mush, that's probably where a lot of this is coming from. But how have you been, sir?
I'm up to 7 jobs, and I think there should be a limit that one person attempts. But including my Patreon and YouTube, it's 7. It's 5 outside and 2 inside. I've reached a level of tired where I think there's a manic energy that's taken over here, but then my body keeps trying to physically go no, we're a person, remember? And so I'll just collapse sometimes. I'll just be like, nope. And so tune in to find out if that happens in the next 2 hours here in Capes and Cows.
I hear you, man. And you heard me kind of laugh at you. Like, I have 7 jobs. I was like, 7. Oh, that's light work, bro. Like, did you ever used to watch A Living Color?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Jamaican family? You'd be like, do you only have one job? I was a cooker, a baker, a candlestick maker. I was president, vice president, secretary of state, secretary of defense. I was a police officer, a fireman, I'm the mayor, the secret service. I was a pilot. I was a plumber. Like, just all of a sudden, it's like, when do you sleep?
But it makes for interesting news stories because I feel like everything's just like, oh, crazy. I missed that. Like, everything comes out of left field when you're in a fugue state.
No, exactly. I completely agree with you that is kind of what's going on, is just trying to keep up mentally. Now, it's funny because there is a story about Peacemaker here. I don't know if I necessarily need to read it because it was more about it was arriving today. Like, the story reads, there's no I in peace on the first poster.
I thought it was a funny headline because I was like, I haven't seen this trailer. I've been looking for this trailer. I
haven't seen it yet.
No.
Oh, no. It dropped this morning.
Oh, I thought it dropped tomorrow. Oh, was that written yesterday?
That was written yesterday. I definitely watched it before. So you're me in this. So that's what happens. I became Kristian and you became me.
Hey, how's that trailer?
Now, here's the thing. It was very, very good. I actually was pretty excited about it. I know some of our main concerns with Peacemaker Season 2 is, how does this work? Like, how do we get from Peacemaker, which is clearly in the DCEU, and somehow transition it to the DCU, for those that haven't seen it yet, I mean, I don't know. Do people get upset about spoilers for trailers? Can I just talk about it?
I feel like, I mean, I haven't seen it. Bring it. I'm curious.
So one of the things that happens is he goes into some sort of interview, almost a la Deadpool with Happy to try and join the Avengers. It is Peacemaker talking to the Justice League, and I believe that's Isabel Merced in there. So Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, and then Sean Gunn. I don't know who Sean is playing off the top of my head. I don't know if you remember. They're like interviewing him, and they are not here for it. There's a lot of funny jokes there. The whole crew is back, other than what's his name, who got axed in the first one, the black dude that was like an alien.
That is a star-studded trailer. If they've got Hawkgirl and that's crazy.
He's Maxwell Lord. That's right. Does it mention that in the trailer though? I didn't want to say whether or not. Like, is that it doesn't say it, but they are in the Justice League Maxwell Lord uniforms, and you clearly know that is Guy Gardner, because like you'd see the bowl cut, but then you see him scratch his head and the ring is on his hand, and you're like, oh, okay. So like, again, it's one of those things where, like, watching it, I was like, okay, they're bringing kind of the same pacing, the same humor. Like, all of the main people of the crew are back, as far as Vigilante and Harcourt and all of them. The main thing that we see in there, though, is at one point Peacemaker goes through a door. He clearly seems to end up in another universe, and then is bum rushed by another Peacemaker. So it was like, okay, so we're getting our answer here. Now, the only thing I am
like Deadpool, like this is how you do it.
Right. Now, my only concern here, I don't want to start off the DCU with hella variants. I don't mind if we get to a place of variants and multiverses, but I really am not trying to start off on this foot of, hey, that's cool. Let's just go ahead and have multiples of everybody. That sounds like a great idea.
Caveat?
Yeah.
If you're going to have variants in a place in the universe to start it off, because you do need to explain, because how recently the DCEU was, and Peacemaker was in that, and that scene at the end, and then moving in, I think the best tone is Peacemaker. I think if we're living in the time we are right now, where we're all a little bit like shared universe out and multi-universe out and commentary on variants out, I think doing a commentary on it through satire of Peacemaker is the way to bring it in, by way of like, we're doing this here, but over here, this is going to be the universe. And then that way you can fold in it. Like, maybe it works. Again, that's what I would do if I was trying to go like, how do we glue two pieces together and also be commentary? Because Peacemaker is like The Boys, not to the extreme, but it's a commentary on while being in universe. So that's the way I'd do it.
Right. No, I feel that. I totally feel that. And I think that you're right. If we're going to do it, I guess what I'm concerned is this has got to be coming out after Superman, right?
Yeah.
So, because, it says August release. Okay. Because, like, my only concern is, it would have just wrapped up. My only concern is just like, man, we're not even done yet, and we're already like kind of throwing that monkey, but I guess you need to explain it as soon as possible. So who knows? Maybe there is a tip of the hat at the end of Superman that immediately nods us towards Peacemaker, or maybe there's something in the movie that nods us towards Peacemaker, and we kind of get to this. Who knows? We'll have to see. The last major thing that happened in there, we did get to see Frank Grillo. We did get to see him as Rick Flag Sr. in person, not just obviously his animated Creature Commando version and whatnot. And there is reference to you killed his son. So automatically drawing us to Rick Flag Jr. and all that kind of stuff.
Which is why you'd have to multiverse, right? Like that right there has to get. So I think it makes sense to make a jab at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that is it. I would say, y'all, please go and check that out if you haven't already. Do it after the show. Don't do it now unless you want to open up a separate browser. I don't know, whatever.
I'm gonna do it as soon as we're
lifestyle. There you go. You can even maybe do it on the ad break. You might have time enough. It's short. It's like how many? It's 2 minutes and what, 15 seconds. That's a little bit longer than our ad break if you want to see it.
I'll come back and give commentary in the first half.
So before we keep going on with the stories, I do need to give y'all the update of what we are going up against today. So the person we have to beat yet again is Roxy. At 78. But to be honest with you, we're already starting off pretty well. We're only about 10 minutes in, and we've already got 12 questions. So that is a strong start. I behoove everyone that is watching the show today, please, if you could help two lonely brothers from another mother out, just throw us a few more of them questions. Keep us rolling and whatnot. I would greatly appreciate that.
It is just 66 $1 questions away.
There it is. Literally. Well, who it was Crystal, right? It was Crystal that helped us out that one. She was on fire.
She's a Roxy diehard, so I don't know if we got her clutch today because I think
she helped us beat Roxy. I thought it was. That's what I thought we would beat Roxy.
I mean, it's always us against Roxy.
Well, sometimes Mike and Steph go off.
That's true.
So it just depends. But either way, let's go on to our first actual story. Let me pull this up really quickly here. There it is. Boom. Okay. So the Thunderbolts director, Jake Schreier, is in talks to helm the X-Men reboot. This is obviously, as you can see from Comic Book Movie and Mark Cassidy, looks like Marvel Studios has finally found a director to take the helm of the long-awaited X-Men reboot. According to Deadline, Marvel is staying in-house for MCU debut of The Children of the Atom, with Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier in early talks to step behind the camera. Apparently, early reactions to Thunderbolts and buzz about the movie being viewed as a return to form for the studio sealed the deal for sure after months of meetings with potential directors. Marvel Schreier had an incredible experience working together on Thunderbolts, a film that has since won over critics and fans, becoming Marvel's best-reviewed film since Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021. While that recent meeting sealed the deal, Marvel execs were well aware how much Schreier loved the X-Men comics, an early sign that he would ultimately get one of those meetings to pitch his vision of what a new X-Men movie would look like. Thunderbolts has performed pretty well at the box office so far, but it's hardly been a runaway success. The movie was a big hit with critics, however. Let's see. So this is for this week. 4.3 million Wednesday for Thunderbolts, down 42% versus Tuesday for a 91.1 domestic box office cum. That's about 8 million tickets sold over the first 6 days, bit below 8.4 million of Eternals, and well below 10.4 of Shang-Chi in the first 6 days. Though new actors will almost certainly be brought into play, the main characters for this reboot, most of the cast of the 20th Century Fox era films, are set to return for Avengers Doomsday. They are also expected to appear in Secret Wars, so the OG team might factor into the new X-Men's debut in some capacity. The no casting announcements have come in. Several actors are believed to be on the studio's radar for key roles. Harris Dickinson, Baby Girl, which I just saw Baby Girl last night. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I saw that in Nosferatu on Christmas, and I had the horniest Christmas.
Jesus Christ, that was maybe the horniest I have ever seen of a my God, bro.
I respected it. Everybody was like, oh, this little tame Gen Z movie is so nah.
Ain't no damn Gen Z movie, bro. Ain't no damn Gen Z movie, bro. The very first time, she's like, no. He's like, nah, just you good. I was like, what am I watching?
See, Challengers came out and I loved it. I think it's a well-made movie, but everybody's like, oh my God, it's so scandalous. And then I was like, Baby Girl, that's what I'm talking about.
Good Jesus Christ. All right, let me finish the story real quick. I know this wasn't, but Harris Dickinson, Baby Girl, The Iron Claw, Triangle Sadness, and Jack Champion, Avatar, and Scream 6 are reported being eyed to play Cyclops, either one of them, with the Bears, Ayo Edebiri, and Jurassic World Dominion star DeWanda Wise in line to play Storm. Kitty Pryde and Gambit are also expected to be on the team. More recently, Hunter Schafer was rumored to be up for Mystique. Wow, I love that casting. Julia Butters, the Gray Man and Fablemans, is said to be in talks to play Kitty Pryde, and Margaret Qualley is on the studio's radar for Rogue. Earlier in the year, we reported on a slightly more out there rumor that Denzel Washington might be set to play Magneto. We don't know if any of the actors listed above are still or ever were in contention, but now that the project is a director attached, we should be getting casting news pretty soon. Paul tells the show to wraps. Movie doesn't have a release date. Michael Leslie is penned a script. Okay, I really have to blow my nose, Coy. I'm dying over here, so I'm going to go ahead and kick it to you. You let me know what you think so far.
Okay, get after it. I am very excited for this. I really, really enjoyed Thunderbolts. I think it is a perfect kind of testing ground for something as big as X-Men. X-Men is huge. X-Men is the next wave, and if you can do something on a, for today's superhero film, modest budget, it's not 250, 300 million. It was just sub of 2, I hear. Hell yeah, because this movie felt huge. It is now, as we see with the new title, a blank level event. And I really honestly feel like it was about underdogs that were misunderstood. A world that hates and fears them, perhaps, is not too many steps away. It also showed a great team dynamic. It also showed that he can handle a lot of different subplots leading towards a great unifying effect. All of the things that make X-Men work are there. Like, all the ingredients are there. Also, like, selfishly, I see the characters like he seems to. Like, I really thought he got Bucky, he got US Agent a beautiful redemption adjacent arc without being too redemptive to undermine the actual impact of his actions. He made me care about, the characters from the comic books that don't get a lot of time. So if you add X-Men that we already love, like, I think this is a great idea. If the script is right, I think he's definitely the guy for it. And I think this is also a great vote of confidence on Thunderbolts. Go see it.
Yeah, no, I think that it is a good attachment personally. Jesus Christ, man, that was awful. That was awful. I'm glad you were able to vamp as long as you were, bro. That was something just that the whole show would have left. If you hadn't seen what just happened. I do. I'm so worried that when I read another story, it's just gonna be like, all right, bitch, you want to talk that long in a row? Fine. But like, that was intense. I say all that to say, no, I do think that this is actually a good choice for director. I do think he did a really great job with Thunderbolts. I think the main focus of Thunderbolts, like you said, not only this idea of people that are either not liked or hated or things like that being put in a position where they're trying to save the day, I think we're able to talk about serious stuff. He found a way to take serious stories like mental health, depression, domestic violence, because you see some of that with, some flashbacks. I won't get into specifics there to try and avoid any spoiler talk right now. But you did see him take very serious stuff and find a way to plug it in and make it work and not feel heavy fisted. But when we needed to get serious, we were able to get serious and still come back and tell a joke to lighten the mood. I just think that it was just very well done on how that worked. And so to that point, I think he can also just dominate with X-Men. I think that's good. I think what it's really going to come down to now is the casting, because this is something that a director may last a movie or only for that particular franchise where we know this is all connected. So
and you're playing the long game like a showrunner. This is like being, or not the showrunner, like the guy that's directing the pilot, how it sets the tone, and that's why they get residuals forever. Like you're building, that is going to be X-Men, right? Because we're going into this giant mutant saga. Whoever's going to make the first X-Men movie has a very establishing tone, and I like the tone of Thunderbolts. I agree with you. It is very capable of handling heavy subject matter without being heavy-handed, and that is important for X-Men. So this sounds awesome to me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But we want to know what you think. Are you on board? Are you on board with this idea of Jake Schreier getting behind the sticks and genuinely taking over X-Men and being the director that takes us into the promised land? We need to know what you think down in the comments. Now, the one thing that I have to say, what is this? Huh? Oh, you should be able to do spoiler talk after this story. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I'm reading a private chat message out loud. That's because my brain, again, is complete mush. But that's okay, because we're going to keep having a good time while we do it all. I'm going to say, before we get to the next stories, though, there is one thing that we need to do. We need to try and pay some light bills, man. And the way that we love to do it is with stuff that we actually rock ourselves. So let Kristian tell you about some of our newest sponsors of the show, man.
You guys did it. You did it. Trade Coffee is back. Oh, my gosh. I'm so happy. I love Trade Coffee. They are my lifeline at this point. I love them so much because coffee it's an essential for me. And I know it's not just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's the bridge between half asleep and ready to conquer the day. And if it's that essential, why would you settle for anything less than extraordinary? That's where Trade comes in. It is the #1 U.S. coffee destination. It brings you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. You take the quiz, and in under a minute, they're going to match you with your perfect coffee. If that first bag isn't quite right, Trade's going to replace it for free until they nail it. If you're headed out on summer vacation, with Trade subscription flexibility, you can pause it, or you can shift delivery while you're away and resume when you're home, ensuring you'll come home to great coffee. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I have gotten to a place where I got this massive, huge, big bag. And I'll be honest, I thought, I'm not going to be able to go through all this. Blasted through this bag because it's so delicious. And I'm showing it off to everybody. When people come over and they visit and guess, you got to try this coffee. And that's exactly what I do. I got everybody talking about Trade. And that's why they came back. And right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Kristian. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Kristian for 50% off your 1-month trial. Drinktrade.com/Kristian. You know why they're back, guys? Because of you guys. That's why they're back. You guys have seen how good they are. Get yourself some Trade. You will not regret it. I told you guys I've been really focusing in on health. I've been trying to make sure that I'm eating the right stuff. And Factor has made that very simple for me. You got to make it your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor, because eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up, you enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and they're ready to eat. They're perfect for any active lifestyle. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It is easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. I have been loving what Factor has been providing to me. Like I told you, I have my live show. I go to the gym. I come back. I have something great. They have protein meals. They have a lot of different things. It just goes right to the style that you're looking for. Because if you want to get healthy stuff on the go, feeling good, you get Factor. And you can get started at factormeals.com/Kristian50 off and use that code Kristian50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Kristian50 off at factormeals.com/Kristian50 off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Thank you so much to both Factor and Trade Coffee. Now, I'll tell you, see, that was when I said it, the new sponsors. Factor's been around. Trade Coffee been gone. Trade Coffee back, Coy. They're back.
You know, I need my coffee. The fact that I am at the point of needing a coffee in the morning, a mid-morning Magic Mind, a late afternoon coffee, and then I drink a hot coffee to go to sleep because the warm coffee makes me sleepy. I've hit a point, a dangerous point.
No, absolutely, man. Now, before we get on to the next couple of stories, man, I gotta say out the gate, I might need to name my first child Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson Marshall might be my first child's name because so far, y'all, we're at 38. We are 40 away thanks to Derek Johnson, 39 now. Derek Johnson being a real one, really putting in the work right now. I really appreciate that. I will say this, y'all. Definitely help Derek out just from the standpoint of, like, if he put in that much work and we don't cross the finish line, I'm going to feel like a real ass. So do me a favor and help Derek out because this is absolutely amazing. But let's hop on to our next story. Here we go. So this one in particular is about the Batman 2, which is targeting a March 2026 shoot. This is Dark Horizons' Garth Franklin. The other day, longtime industry film production newsletter Production Weekly put out its latest issue with the long-awaited Batman Part 2 finally showing up. The issue indicates shooting on the project is now targeted at a May 2026 start in London following several production delays. The listing is mostly a standby one using the synopsis for the first film. It does credit Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin as the film's writers and lists producers, production manager, director of photography, etc. And very pointedly, there is no mention of the film's director. Interesting. Back in April came reports that filming on the project had been delayed until early 2026, one of the big reasons why Robert Pattinson has time to shoot Dune Messiah in the back half of this year. Those same reports indicated that Reeves, who has been dealing with a serious personal matter for some time now, might step away from directing the sequel as Warner's wants to keep the project moving forward. Does this new listing mean he has stepped away, or is it just an oversight on their part? Appearing on the hot mic to address the situation tonight, Scooper Jeff Schneider says it's still not clear if Reeves has exited the project at this time. Whatever the case, The Batman Part 2 is presently slated for an October 1st, 2027 release. Coy, you hear that, man? And where does your mind go as far as The Batman Part 2?
I have only heard the grapevine confidence of like Matt Reeves is still there. Like I feel like, there was a slight mention of like, is this omission anecdotal? And that's what it feels like. I feel like it's just going to happen when it happens. I don't think there is the Batman 2 in this universe in this way without Matt Reeves. I think that we've had some incredible world building type of debut films, but there's something so special about the Batman that it really allowed us to have something like the Penguin. So I don't know. This is not one of those examples where, me working at DC Studio Showcase has any sort of insight. I don't know, but I don't imagine they would have the Batman 2 without the Matt Reeves 2.
Absolutely. I at least he's like co-writer still, but like I don't think you have a movie if he's gone. That's like genuinely trying to separate Nolan from his trilogy, and not even that I only bring that up not necessarily because it's Batman, but just like him having control of it the whole way through is more what I'm thinking of any trilogy like that, or like trying to separate Jackson from the Lord of the Rings series. It wouldn't have made any sense to do that because he had a particular vision, and so I obviously want Matt to be able to deal with whatever he's dealing with. And if he feels like he can come back and do it, cool. But I don't think picking a new director would make sense personally. But that would really suck. It would really suck if we got a one-off and that was it, man. Because there was definitely a lot of room.
Was on top of it.
Right. The Penguin slaps. The Penguin was very, very good.
And that's a good example of like someone working in that tone, the showrunner of that. Like a lot of people give Matt Reeves all of his flowers for, the world building, but then the Penguin lived in that world so well. And the showrunner and the directors, they all did an incredible job. Like Matt Reeves didn't direct the Penguin. Like it had directors and a showrunner that took that tone. So to me, that's also an important note of like Matt Reeves doing the Batman movies, like the Batman 1, the Batman 2, hopefully the Batman 3, and then these abilities to tell stories in between. That's awesome. But I don't feel like the Batman 2 should go Reeves-less. And I don't feel like it will, but again, I don't know.
That's again, I don't necessarily think that it will either, but it's just a minute fear that's like kind of kicking in the back of my mind is that his writing will be there, but that if something this serious is going on, that he may not be there. And that to me genuinely does worry me.
I agree. And I get that, but I think like, I love Lauren LaFranc. I was trying to remember her last name, LaFranc. I didn't want to say it wrong. Lauren LaFranc, who show ran The Penguin. She loves these characters and loves this world and all those things. And she's the only person I can think of to like take on the mantle. But even that feels like I would rather see The Penguin 2 or her do another show between them. But that's the only thing I can think of as like, she did such a good job in Matt Reeves' world. But I still feel like, I don't know. I think if that was going to happen, we wouldn't have had these delays. I think the delays are to honor Matt Reeves getting through whatever it is and letting this happen when it should.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think that's probably where we're headed right now. So, but let us know what you think, man. Do you trust this idea of it's going to start shooting in March? Reeves will be back and we're going to get the Batman 2 on time, part 2 on time, or do you think that this is spelling more trouble? Please let us know. Oh, I forgot that Dark Horizons loves to do that crap. Just randomly play ads. No, what we're not about to do, I'm going to tell you right now, is that. But yes, please let us know. Shout out to everybody that's throwing stuff in. But again, Derek Johnson going ham, going hard in the paint right now. We're at 53 people. We are already only 25 away from tying, 26 from pulling it off. So please keep showing that support. We love y'all for that. We really, really do. Before we go to the next story quick, I'm going to call an audible right now. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
All right. So next year, we're getting a lot of great media as well, right? We're getting Doomsday. We're getting Avatar
Supergirl.
3. We're getting Supergirl. We are also getting maybe one of the most anticipated video games of all time in Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, are you a gamer at all, really?
I'm a big Sonic on Sega Genesis guy. I'm a big Vector Man fellow. I'm a big
wow, you are old.
NES gamer.
The funny thing is, I sit here and act like I'm not sitting and having on display. I don't even know if this angle will show it. There is literally my NES and my Super Nintendo sitting right here on my display here. So I'm acting like I don't rock the same crap. But
I played Spider-Man PS4. I bought a PS4 for Spider-Man, but like I know everyone else beat it in like a week, and it took me months because I don't game, so my brain doesn't like. So everybody's like, "You got to play Spider-Man 2 on PS5," and I was like, "One, I cannot rationalize buying a system for a game again." And I did buy PS4 games after, but I can't every system. And then like by the time I beat it, it's going to be on PS17, and like I just can't. So I'm an old school gamer. I like a side scroller, and that's where I belong. I know my lane. So GTA 6, I know it for the memes of blank before GTA 6. That's all I got.
So my question is this. Somebody brought this up on my stream this week, and I just want to know your opinion before I give my thoughts here. Someone said that we should bet Kristian, or see if anybody will take this bet, that GTA 6 will actually outsell any movie that drops next year. And I'm throwing Avatar 3 in there. I know it's coming out this Christmas, but it will obviously run through. So we're going to talk about kind of its overall run in that regard. So you can have Avatar 3 as well. Okay. Do you think that GTA 6 in its first year will outsell the top movie of next year?
Units or dollars?
Dollars.
Yes.
You think so? You think GTA 6 will outsell
like $70 a game? So like,
I mean, which is fair.
But no, it's fair. But like a movie ticket is 12 to 20, and then a game is 70 to 100. So like, that's five tickets. That's a family. It's a family ticket.
So the only thing that had me thinking one way or the other, because like first I was like, well, we've already seen that Avatar will auto gross $1 billion more or less. And at this point, could auto gross $2 billion, like almost at that point, right? So you throw that in there, and you throw in the fact that, like you said, a ticket to take the family to the movies it's the four of us, call it 20 a pop. We're not gonna see IMAX because we cheap around here. It's $80, right? So that's to do that versus buying GTA 6, which will most likely, I hate to say it, be like $100 because of Nintendo's jazz. So like, yes, there's a lot of people that want it, but knowing that we're dealing with now looking like heading towards a recession, that people are counting their ducats, because there's been a lot of talk even about looking at concerts. So like Beyonce's on tour right now. She's not selling out. The shows are pretty full, but there's been a lot of reports of like shows being like, hey, do you want a $40 Beyonce ticket for like a week before she shows up to people's cities? So it makes people wonder, okay, is this the canary in the coal mine? People are really kind of counting their ducats right now. Will they actually drop 100, 125? The diehards will, but will the average person go, yeah, I'm going to go get GTA 6 right now? Do you truly think that it will pull it off?
I love the idea that nosebleed Beyonce tickets are a recession indicator. Like, oh, that's a sign. We got the gopher saw his own shadow. You're not wrong.
It sounds weird, but when you consider that someone like a Beyonce, a Taylor Swift, their concerts fully sell out. Like it's not a thing.
You're not wrong. I just hadn't considered. You're right. Like that's a funny indicator I hadn't thought of. I would say it is still likely that people will rationalize the weeks of, I mean, at least a week, but like weeks of time for that $100. Because like the thing about what your first instinct just was, when I said $70 to $100, you said that's fair. But that's how many hours of gameplay you get. Like immediately you think like that's a rational amount of dollars for the entertainment. And I think it is. If I was a gamer, I would not have a qualm spending 70 on something that plays like 5 movies of time, because my brain would be like 5 movie tickets, GTA. So I think it'll still make like $6 billion. Like I think it's going to make crazy money.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it might have made
but in the first year, I'm not talking lifetime. I'm talking the first year of the game.
I think with recession comes crime, and with crime comes celebrating it in games.
I will say my favorite comment of people that are like anti GTA or like the new one coming out, they'd be like, if GTA 6 is anti-cop, I'm out. I'm not here for that wokeness. I'm like, the game is named after a crime. It is literally called Grand Theft Auto. You think cops stand for Grand Theft Auto? That is what?
Dude, the amount of us drifting a certain direction is fascinating to watch.
I'm not even because this is Kristian show. You want to hear my full takes on shit? You come over to Coy's. That's fine. We'll talk about it all day. But that is something I have to call out, which is just hilarious.
Yep. And what if there's women in it, Winston? What if there's women? What if there's people?
Man, hey, hold on. Please tell me you saw that Neil deGrasse Tyson is apparently a full-blown gooner because he started talking about, have you noticed that there are jiggle physics now? The gravity, the curvature, it's all happening. And you could see it the way that a buttocks is moving side to side. This is revolutionary for games. Holy shit, can I do a Neil deGrasse Tyson impression? Especially with the mustache right now, bro. I might have to do some Neil deGrasse Tyson content. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Just a full GTA 6 review. We get Winston as Neil deGrasse Tyson before we get GTA 6 about GTA
6. This one gets me. If GTA 6 has strippers, I'm out. It's like people don't remember hot coffee anymore, bro. It's like that's beyond their time. That actually might be outside your purview, actually, now that I think about it.
This audience?
Yeah, what, say that again?
I said hot coffee outside this audience's purview or GTA 6 fans? Or
no. So Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, since you've admitted you're not much of a gamer, there was a mod called Hot Coffee where it was literally you could go and have sex. Like it was a mod where you would
put that outside of it because what coffee means. So I actually did get that reference because of the macro.
But also just for reference, that first year GTA 5 sold 200,000 copies. GTA 6 will cost roughly, it sold millions by now, millions upon millions upon millions, but 200,000 copies. GTA 6 will probably cost about $90. So you're looking at roughly about 1.8 is what Luke has been telling us behind the scenes.
I mean, that's right on par with Avatar 3's expectations.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Okay. I just remembered little kids be watching the show. We got to move on to a different topic and not be talking about this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm never going to be able to host again. This is the last time you will be seeing my face in the hosting chair.
Change that title to GTA 6 discussion.
Let's go on to some more comic book stuff, man. We got to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day is added the Bear star Lisa Colon Zayas, and there's rumored of Zendaya's return as MJ. It's Josh Walding of Comic Book Movie. Deadline has confirmed that the Bear star Lisa Colon Zayas is the latest addition to the cast of Spider-Man Brand New Day. While the deal has closed, there's no word on who the actor will play. There's been some chatter about the movie featuring a female villain, but we can only speculate that on her role for the time being. She won an Emmy for her role as Tina Morero in The Bear and became the first Latina to earn an award in the Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy category. She also received nominations at Critics' Choice Awards, SAG Awards, and the Golden Globes. Other credits include If, Cat Person, In Treatment, and David Makes Man. She's also well known for her work on stage. Now she joins the cast, including Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Stranger Things star Sadie Sink, Jacob Batlin, and Zendaya are expected to return as Ned and MJ, respectively. On that note, My Time to Shine Hello brings word that as of the latest draft, Zendaya is in Spider-Man 4, but her role is more in line with the size of her part in Homecoming. It's not overly surprising, particularly as Peter Parker will likely have a new friendship group as a college student. Remember, MJ and Ned are planning to set off to MIT in Boston. We'd also bet on Marvel Studios making us wait for Spidey's loved ones to remember who he is. Last December, Spider-Man franchise producer Amy Pascal hyped up the Web-Slingers X Solo Adventure. We're starting shooting the next Spider-Man movie with Destin Daniel Cretton. He's a wonderful director. I love Just Mercy. I love Short Term 12. I love Shang-Chi. I think he did a wonderful job. When it was suggested that Spider-Man No Way Home felt like the perfect send-off for the hero, Pascal responded, well, we have to deal with the fact that he decided he was going to give up being Peter Parker. and he was going to focus on being Spider-Man because Peter Parker was too hard, the veteran producer teased. That's what the movie is about. I read it 3 weeks ago, and it really lit a fire in me, Holland revealed late last year. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together. We've heard this quote a bunch of times. Set to come out July 31st in 2026. Yes. Okay. So, Coy, I'm going to be real with you. I saw one of our colleagues put out a tweet that actually made a shit ton of sense, and I actually think I know who she might be playing. This might be a stretch, but it's very possible that we're setting some stuff up here. So, Ms. Cleon Zayas is apparently Puerto Rican. So it's leading me to believe that we may actually be looking at Mrs. Morales. And we're setting up, potentially introducing Miles, if not in this movie or at the end of this movie, setting up that family even more so. Who knows if we end up seeing Donald Glover again secretly, if that's the case, things like that. I think that would be kind of a pretty automatic look at that. Now, obviously, you can change things how you want. It is what it is. But I feel like that would be a good fit, especially potentially if Miles is going to be in the long run here, knowing that this is taking place in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So we're probably going to get introduced to a decent number of characters and things go. I don't hate that idea. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that she might be cast in that direction? Or do you think it's going somewhere else?
I would not cast as talented an actress without it being an important role. She's so good, and she's on such a hot streak right now with The Bear. It's not like, she did a giant show 10 years ago. She's on the biggest show, and she's incredible on it. I'd love that, to be honest. I think it's almost inevitable we get Miles in Secret Wars. I think we need some big pops that aren't known or announced, and I think Secret Wars allows for some universe folding, and I think that would allow for a really cool mentorship, Tom Holland, Miles Morales relationship. I think it'd be awesome to see the parents as like important roles, because that's one of the unique things about Miles compared to the average hero that lost their parents in an alleyway or in a freak accident. Miles has parents, so it'd be cool to have them established and be part of the world. So I love that idea. That's fantastic.
I honestly think that would, like, I the minute I saw Roka, because I saw the report and I was just like, okay. And I was like, she's fantastic. I'm excited to see her in the MCU. That's great. But I was just like, I didn't even remotely try and guess what's going on with Spider-Man, because we've kind of had stuff bouncing all over the place. I said, fine. And then I saw Roka tweet that and I said, whoa.
Suddenly.
That I was like, whoa. That actually is fantastic casting, and I would love to see that happen. But if you are going to put her as a villain or something like that, that's fine too. I don't hate it. I was in love with the supposed rumor of they were bringing in Mr. Negative. If you were going to do that, I think that would have been awesome. But if you have a good role for her as a villain, that's fine. Who do you think she could play as a villain potentially? Because you obviously know Spider-Man better than anybody I know. So
no, I appreciate it. I see her so warm. Like, it's really funny. Like, I'm really like, she could be
yeah, but you remember every time she would talk to him at the start of it, she was an ass. Like, she can play an ass too.
She totally can, but there's an undercurrent of warmth that is like him being an ass is why he deserved it. Like, there's just such a niceness. I could see her as like the leader of the Magia crime family.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Because like I see her as not in a suit. I see her as like in a controlled like neighborhood environment, like actually running stuff. Like doing stuff street level. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that while we do the next story, because there are inevitably answers, but like she's so specific that I feel like there's someone right in front of me. That's
missing. You're missing. Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I totally hear you. But what do you think again about so far the idea that I guess Zendaya and Jacob are coming back? It's not really any reports per se. It probably does sound like they're going to get highly nerfed as far as their screen time, which I would personally prefer. I don't necessarily want to have him.
Just
both of them
consequences of the last movie.
Exactly. You would essentially say, that was the last one. We're back, baby. Just because there's
Spider-Man is done. Like, I would say, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was agreeing with you. I think that Spider-Man, more than any other of the trilogies, At the end of Spider-Man 1, Aunt May reveal, don't really have consequences. End of Spider-Man 2, he's going to be hunted, probably use Kraven, not really have any consequence. So, like, the consequence of people knowing his identity obviously leads to No Way Home, but there's never, he goes back to school. Like, there's not the hunt that I think they were setting up. So I'm hoping they don't do that between 3 and 4, like it felt like they did between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Let us know what you think about the casting, y'all, and where you are falling in that territory. We would love to hear what you have to say on it. And any of the stories we've talked about, we got a couple more before we get to your questions. We are so close. We are at 70, y'all. We are 9 away from pulling this off. Please, please, please keep them coming. We appreciate you so much. And again, massive shout out to Derek. We'll get to that in just a moment here. So we've got 2 more quick stories to cover. Let me pop on over and get that popping off. Boom and boom. This first one here, Hawkeye star Jeremy Renner opens up on MCU Future, Comics on Trick Shot, the Raid inspired season 2, etc. from Josh Wilding, a comic book movie. Multiple scoopers have claimed that the Hawkeye season 2 will be heavily inspired by the Raid, with Clint Barton and Kate Bishop set to battle Barney Barton, aka Trick Shot. Unfortunately, Jeremy Renner appeared to dismiss the notion of another season happening after revealing that Marvel Studios offered him half of what he was earning in season 1 for what would be a lengthy 9-month shoot. There's also chatter that Vision will be the final MCU TV series focusing on characters from the movies. Josh Horowitz spoke recently with Renner. It's unclear whether this took place before or after his comments about pay, and asked about taking a step back from the MCU. I think it's more the willingness to take step away from things. The actor explains, "My daughter's the priority. It's not even a choice. I'm going to be a father to my daughter. If they're going to keep shooting in London or whatever, it's not going to work." Renner went on to compare the situation to when he gave up his Mission Impossible role. Once upon a time, there was talk of him taking over the series from Tom Cruise, but the doors seemingly closed on that when the Avengers Endgame stars said goodbye to William Brandt shortly after Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol's release. Horowitz brought up the Raid and Trick Shot rumors, prompting Renner to say, maybe some of that's true in there. I don't know. We got into a little bit of story-wise and stuff. Everyone was interested in it. I wouldn't want to say no to that. I think there's still a lot of ideas, and they've got to figure a lot of things out. I'm always game to do it, man. He confirmed it's a fun world. I love being a part of it. Selfishly, I like the currency of doing it because of what it means to the kids in the foundation I run. Asked about the next Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, Renner acknowledged that the former is currently in production, but played coy when pushed on his possible involvement. For now, it looks like Clint might still be enjoying a well-earned rest at home with his family. Talking about the MCU future as Kate, Haley Steinfeld recently said, "I'm excited about the idea of continuing to grow with a character like Kate, especially in something as huge as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You get to go back to your family. You get to go back to that little home that then becomes part of this grander picture. I love that character, and I totally understand why she is so loved." You can check out that full interview with Renner over with the Happy Sad Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz, which is a fantastic podcast if y'all don't already watch or listen. But yeah, man, what do you think? Because I think the other part of this story that was kind of rumored with the whole pay situation from Disney, the rumor is that it was potentially contractually in there that they were going to get at least 2 seasons. And so the only way to potentially not do the 2 seasons is to get Renner or some other major element to go, I'm not doing that. So if you lowball him, and he's like,
the whole
well,
thing goes away
no,
and
then they don't have to do it. So what do you think about his comments there and that potential rumor as to why that happened?
I mean, they've said a lot about what we're getting with quality over quantity, and I feel like they do feel like the era of making all these shows is their quantity era that caused a lot of this, like, MCU. So I personally don't like Hawkeye's not my top third. I love the ingredients. I didn't like how it came out. But I would always show up for a Renner and Kate Bishop duo show, but maybe not enough people would. So I think if that is the reason it kind of fell apart, that's not a bad business move. It doesn't look good optically to say, you know, they're cutting my pay in half. Like I definitely think it's we're talking about it for a second time. Like it's definitely something that's tricky optics, but I do hope he, appears briefly and gets a send off. He has been with us in the beginning. I love Renner's take on Hawkeye. The first thing I ever, my Avengers 1, when it came out, I dressed as Hawkeye to go to a regular screening at AMC. Like I love the character.
Wow.
I don't cosplay. I've done it twice. Once as the Joker for Warner Brothers back in 2008, and the second time ever was in 2012 outside of AMC Burbank. If you go to AMC's YouTube right now and scroll back to the Avengers thing, the thumbnail is me and like 10 of my friends standing outside the movie theater before anyone knew who I was.
Not even kidding.
It's
you gotta love
it. Toy.
Absolutely. I mean, and I gotta say, it's clear he enjoys his character. That one of my favorite interviews was him and Olsen on Civil War, and one because the two of them, they clearly have become like some form of best friends where they can just back and forth with each other. They're a fun pair to interview together. But he clearly really enjoys this role and has said as much throughout, and especially like he mentioned, he loves for his foundation, and I'm sure his kids and whatnot. But I also understand him being like, I am going to be here for my daughter. I have played Hawkeye. I don't need to keep playing Hawkeye, but I do need to be there for my daughter. And I respect that on so many levels. But I do hope he gets the opportunity to have a proper send-off for the character. I think he's been too vital to just let him kind of fade into the background.
That's my thing, is like he needs a goodbye, because they almost gave him a goodbye before. And now it'd be really sad if he doesn't get one. He's had so many emotionally impactful moments. Also, as you saw in that article, he's playing me in the movie.
Yeah, that is true. Let me pull that back up real quick. You're talking about that photo at the end.
No, read the last line of dialogue.
Oh, hold on. Let's see.
About Doomsday.
Yeah. Hold on. Did I say that? Did I say that, or did
scroll up?
Right here. Asked about the next Avengers movie, Doomsday and Secret Wars. Renner acknowledged that the former is currently in production, but played coy. Ha ha! You little so-and-so.
The long game to that dad joke, the journey we just took to get to my dad joke. I'm like, no, pull it up. Check the tapes.
We are so close to winning. I almost want to tell people to stop because I'm so mad at you for that. I am so mad at you, but I'm not going to do that to Derek Johnson, who straight up put his life on the line for us. All right.
He's not playing coy.
You're in timeout. Okay, so we got one more story. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick, and then we'll get to your questions. And that is the rumor that Marvel might be eyeing an Avatar 2 actor to play Jubilee. This is coming from superherohype.com. And let's see, we have a new casting rumor that points to Marvel Studios eyeing a young Avatar The Way of the Water star for the role in the X-Men reboot. The latest update places Trinity Jolie Bliss in the running to play Jubilee. Though Marvel has not confirmed the casting, Marvel plans to reveal more announcements as development progresses. Trinity Jolie Bliss, rumored to be eyed for Jubilee. Oh, okay, that's just a insider. Jeff Snyder shared the rumor on the Hot Mic podcast that Marvel Studios is considering Avatar: The Way of the Water actress Trinity Jolie Bliss for the role of Jubilation Lee, or aka Jubilee, in its upcoming X-Men reboot. Snyder said Bliss is in the mix for Jubilee and advised taking the news with a grain of salt. He added that director Jake Schreier, who is in early talks to helm the film, which we now know he pretty much has that kind of locked up, will have input on casting, but the final decision will be whoever Kevin Feige wants. Normally, Bliss debuted as Tukiti or Tuck and Tukiti. I don't watch Avatar like that. In The Way of the Water, played the youngest child of Jake Sully and Natiri. She will return in the sequel, Avatar Fire and Ash, scheduled to release in 2025. Marvel Studios has not confirmed any casting or release date for the X-Men reboot. The film, part of Marvel's post-multiversal saga lineup, remains in early development. Michael Leslie is writing the script, and as stated above, Schreier, who directed Thunderbolts, is looking to direct. Snyder says Marvel plans to announce more casting decisions in the coming months. Yada, yada, blue-diddy-blue. All right, Coy. So you're out of timeout. No more dad jokes. What do you think about her coming on as Jubilee?
You know, I don't know her work well. I watch the Avatar movies, but I don't generally go like that role. It's a spectacle where like the performances are important to have the spectacle be weighted, but I don't remember individual performances. So no disrespect to anyone in them, but it's a grand scale movie about the scale to me. So for me, I'm just excited about someone actually getting to play Jubilee after so many actresses have almost played Jubilee, and there's been scenes with Jubilee that have gotten like trimmed down and like, you know, we've gotten moments, but I want like a Jubilee performance. So anytime there's a rumor of casting, I just hope they give her due because she's such a beloved character. So, Avatar's a big property. It's Disney. It's in-house. I'm hoping this means a bigger role.
So I'm curious because it feels like we almost always get one younger character in the X-Men that almost becomes our anchor. It's the new person that comes to the school. A lot of times it ends up being a young female character, either Rogue, when we got in the original X-Men films, Jubilee, who we got in X-Men the Animated Series. We've seen Kitty in certain instances. We've seen Armor in like the X-Men animated series, anime series. So do you think potentially if we're getting Kitty and Jubilee and do you think that might be too much to have too many young X-Men coming in at the same time, or do you don't think that's a problem?
I think they need to be very mindful of, are they doing the original team as professors and a little older? Are they doing like a freshman and junior class, like where the junior class is our X-Men we know, and then a freshman class? Like, they just need to be mindful of what they want to set up, because we've got so many X-Men that are beloved that you could do, the core 5 to 10 as professors and have a new wave come in, or you could go back to the jump and have them develop and evolve the story. So I'd play this out for 20 years. I would have personally the team you want to have be a little older, a little more established. That way it's not everyone getting an origin story, and then have a slightly younger wave and let everyone grow into these roles. Like, start there. And then every 5 years, introduce a new team of X-Men, not team, but a new wave of X-Men. So I would start with more of them young than like in their 30s, because that'll age them out. And it depends what you want from Professor Magneto age-wise.
I mean, I think that's fair. I guess the only thing is that because there's the rumors of Psyche and Jean and Storm themselves all skewing a little younger too. So that's where I'm like getting concerned here, is that there's not really a world where Scott, Jean, Storm and them aren't a little bit more senior to the Kitties and the Jubilees and stuff like that. Like, you do kind of need there to be a little age separation there for it to kind of work, which is also what makes it interesting. The idea that it is almost like, I don't know why this show popped into my head, but like a Seventh Heaven. There's like the like, I don't know why. Not the Brady Bunch, not like
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven for some reason. But I agree with you. You need to have a little bit of that separation of like the older siblings and like the young siblings.
Yeah.
Almost. Or the aunties and uncles and like your little nieces and nephews. You kind of need that kind of separation there. So I hope they're careful.
But they also need to be mindful of fan favorites, because they're really going to be leaning into this X-Men saga. So I think whatever they do, they need to make sure they've got people like Jubilee that are loved. So you can establish this for 10 years, then bring in your Armors and your Chambers, and like there's so many characters. This is one universe I'm not worried about personally.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. And I see someone asking Seventh Heaven, Winston, are you okay? I mean, what it is that one, I'm sick, but this would be my excuse for every single thing. But two, I've been watching a lot of YouTube in the background, and I actually just watched the 10 sitcom dads that ended up not being good people. And so that was one of the things that came up in that Watch Mojo breakdown. But I think it's just so the same way that what was the song I was talking about earlier that was launched about? Oh, the goth kid on vacation. I just have a lot of weird stuff just jammed in my head, caught in just a bunch of just sinus.
A broken man this week, just coping, just navigating the world.
Oh, man. All right. So we've gotten through all of our stories for the day, y'all. So please let us know in the comments how you're feeling about any of that, any questions you have. I'm going to tell you right now, we are insanely close to finishing this. So I'm just going to say, if people want to throw just a handful of things in there, we'll be good to go. I will go ahead and preemptively set this up. If we hit it, can you hear this, Coy?
Yes.
Okay. If we hit it, I will play our theme music. I didn't hear it. That was weird.
I did. That is weird.
You heard this?
Yeah. I hear it right now.
Okay. Yeah. Because I did not hear that. That was very weird. But that's fine. I'm glad it's working. So, okay. Luke here's it too. So maybe it's just I didn't have my setting going, but that's fine. We are very close. I will play the theme music when we get there. But let's get into these questions, man. All right. So first of all, shout out to our newest member, Pex. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate the support. Mike's Movie Madness. Lucasfilms needs to get their act together and go after this quality of writing here on out. I don't want every project to be the same tone as Andor, but it absolutely needs this level of writing. I have still not started it, man. Please tell me how you're feeling about Andor and if you kind of agree with this comment.
I love it. I'm reviewing it on my page, shameless plug. And I do each individual episode, or I had been, but I've been doing too much to the point where I did the second batch of episodes and I was so tired that, you know, when you're watching something and you think you've watched all of it and you're like, was that 20 minutes or 30 minutes? Oh, it was an hour? Oh no. And you just missed stuff. I tried reviewing 3 episodes and like missed that characters had come back, key plot points. I was so tired. So this next batch, which was, I think, my favorite batch 3, absolutely incredible. I did it all as one review, and I made sure to have a lot of coffee first. I'm loving it, and I think it is amongst the best Star Wars ever made. And I love that the writing's so good that it's dense enough that I can miss stuff. It's not surface level. It's very good TV.
All right. I mean, look, I want to watch it. I just need to go and watch season 1. I need to finish season 1. And in actuality, it's been so long, I need to rewatch season 1. So I will eventually get to it. It's just not something I have done at this present moment. All right. Next one. Dalton Leprick. We've seen the GOAT Giamatti as Batman, but what would Dice look and sound like as Batman? Do you do a Dice impression? Because without Kristian, we might just have to. All right. I'm going to go ahead and
this for Kristian.
I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, Kristian, I'm going to text him right now. Kristian, you need to do this impression the next time you are live. Please and thank you, Dalton Leprick.
Great. We're men of honor, even without
we Kristian, are indeed. Don't worry, Dalton. We told him, so you just need to watch the next show for show. Connor Mullis. Corky and Wilson, Superman, 2 months from tomorrow. Ah! Is it really 2 months from tomorrow?
Comes out the 11th. Tomorrow's the 10th. Yeah.
Damn. That also reminds me I need to pay my damn car insurance bill.
Yep. We got bills. It's that time of month.
Yeah, it is. GoPal coming in, early support while I am still snowed under at work. For a second, I was like, snow?
I was like, May? 2 months from July.
And I was like, oh, you literal work. Okay, got it. No worries. Well, good luck, GoPal. Thank you so much for the support. Mike's Movie Madness. Hey, Kristian, not sure why, but my super chats from yesterday weren't read. Probably a StreamYard issue. Ooh, I don't think I have access to that on the ready.
Another photo to send him.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and screenshot that one too. There'll be a lot of that. I'm just going to throw that in there. I'm not going to write another message here. I'm just going to hit enter. Great. What did I do? I lost the comments. Okay, great. Gary Busey, the Connor Mills. Gary Busey is Professor X. We need it. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is gonna be a whole thing, isn't it? All right, hold on. Escape.
I don't even know how to do a Busey. I just was trying to go for the teeth.
I'm just gonna make sure Kristian sees all these because I want y'all to get what you paid for. It would only be fair. Okay. And then Connor comes back in and says, well, technically tomorrow, I guess, because that's the Thursday premiere. That's true.
I'm so excited. Like 2 months out. We got a new still today on Empire. I'm just counting down the days.
Yeah, man. Connor comes back in again. Peacemaker season 2 might use multiverse, but won't be the main focus. I doubt it'll be used much in DCU as a main plot or story, more as a minor plot device. I think so too. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. But yeah. Nick Alexander, Peacemaker. Love the tie-ins to Superman and Creature Commandos, and also having it feel like a great follow-up season. I'm so ready for more DCU. I'm there with you, brother. Coy, what is the thing you're most excited about for the DCU? We've got Superman, Peacemaker, and that's it for the rest of this year, right?
This year's those two. Next year, Lanterns and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I think Superman is obviously the big precedent because I love the character and I want to see the movie to see the tone. But Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is right behind it. That's one of my favorite comics of all time. So I could not be more excited for that 1-2 punch. I'm really stoked. I'm happy about it.
Word.
And we just had sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I said word.
Oh, I just had the great Anthony Carrigan and the wonderful actress who plays what's her name? It escapes me. We just had them on DC Studio Showcase, and why the name escapes me right now is Sarah Sampaio. Sarah Sampaio and Anthony Carrigan we just had on DC Studio Showcase, and they were fantastic. So it dropped this morning at like 9 a.m.
Again, where my brain's at right now, you said Sarah Sampaio, and I was like, you mean Sal Saperstein? Thanks,
Sal
Sal Saperstein.
The Golden Globe goes to. Thanks, Sal Saperstein.
Buster Barnes, the only thing I'm confused by is it seems that the DCU Peacemaker is talking to the DCU Justice League before he ends up in the DCU with the other Peacemaker. It's a great question. I think that they are intentionally throwing us for a loop. If I had to guess, I would guess that what we see in the initial part of the teaser trailer of him talking to the Justice League happens after he talks to his DCU counterpart. I wouldn't even be surprised if he ends up accidentally killing his DCU counterpart and now he's trying to take over his body. That actually seems like a very kind of like Rick and Morty kind of spot on, like, oh yeah, okay, I'm just gonna be you now. That's fine. We just did that one. The trailer was fire though, says Buster. Appreciate that. And now we get into probably my favorite part of the show. Mr. Derek Johnson coming in here and taking us to the promised land, baby. We did it, y'all. We are sitting at 80. Thank you so much to everybody for helping the world's finest get back at it again. Derek Johnson just in these streets, man. Just in these streets. It's funny. It feels like every single time we pull it off nowadays, it's literally because me and you are really just like, I don't know, Green Arrow and Batman, and then Superman comes flying in and actually stops a meteor, or Wonder Woman catches a plane that we couldn't catch. Like,
we're just doing our best.
We really are. We're doing the best we can. But thank you so much to everybody, but especially Derek Johnson, who brought us to the goal line, man. That's absolutely crazy. Connor Mullins, DCU will use multiversal like Marvel, using the Void in Deadpool and Wolverine, or how the new Superman is going to use pocket dimensions, just a tool. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the start of something, not the end of something, right? Like, I feel like the big culmination of everything Marvel is multiverse, but I feel like the DCU is starting by using it as a way to get in, which I think is fun.
Yeah, I agree. Shut up and take my money from DG. I'm going to assume that's about Peacemaker, but maybe it's about us. I
think he just was throwing in because that's the beginning of the chat.
That's also fair. Multiverse, and it is Nick Alexander. Multiverse in DCU feels comics accurate. It doesn't feel as tired somehow. I want to see how DCU handles things versus how MCU handles things. Yeah, I'm curious. And obviously with Gunn having been in the MCU, I still am like the things he's learned and what he likes and what he doesn't like, and to see what he ends up kind of putting in there. I mean, what do you specifically hope is the same, and what do you hope is different?
I hope it is same in the way that we get characters we wouldn't normally see. Like, we could have different time variations of characters, and we could have like characters interact in a more linear way that we don't have to over explain them. They can just jump in and multiverse it. What I don't want is everything to be reliant on the multiverse. I don't want it to be like, oh, this got to connect. It's got to be over here. It's got to, like, that's what Marvel's struggling with right now, is the weight of that. So I hope they don't make everything one thing. Because that's,
yeah.
It's gotten to the point where it's a negative, not a positive.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I think that would be the main thing, is I need it to all connect, but I don't need it to connect as in like first cousins. I need it to be like second, third cousins removed type shit, where it's like
a genealogy chart. I don't want it to be just everybody in family.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's something a little minor, even if it's like a situation where, you know, let's say we're watching the Lanterns and they are working on this case, and they happen to like go stop at a police station and they see, you know, that Black Manta's getting arrested. I don't know why I picked Black Manta. I just tried to pull a villain out of my brain. I was like, they can connect like that. I don't need anything.
Oh, well, Black Manta?
Yeah, no. Black Manta, bro. That's
on the streets of Atlantis, just living his life. Just trying to get
he
home.
Did something. Hey, he did something, bro.
Just jaywalking across the street.
Nah,
and you're gonna just
nah. He did something.
I know don't know why you're stopping and frisking Black Manta. I'm just curious.
He's walking around with a shoulder cannon on his damn shoulder, bro. Is that registered?
Seems like an odd
Where's
pull.
your
All the
papers for
heroes,
that?
All the character names.
I also love how we potentially switched on. Good Lord. Derek Johnson coming in with the support.
Didn't pull White Tiger.
Did you ever watch Harvey Birdman Attorney-in-Law? I'll get to this question in a second. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
You really should. I believe it's still on Max because there's a part of Adult Swim. There is this amazing trial where Apache Chief sues the Justice League for like racism, right?
Okay.
And so the funny part about that, or he's suing a coffee company, but the racism is involved in the whole situation, and they get Black Vulcan up there. And they were like, yeah, man, I couldn't stand the Justice League or the Super Friends because they were always trying to make me take on names I didn't want. Like, my name used to be Supervolt, but then when I got there, they wanted to call me Black Vulcan. Why don't you calling Aquaman White Fish? Like, just literally that exact. It is one of the funniest episodes of television I have ever seen, especially if you're a comic fan, because they did just go through all of the characters and just how ridiculous they are.
It's a lot.
So I would highly recommend that for anybody who hasn't seen Harvey Birdman Attorney-in-Law. The Librarian of Alexandria. I know it's early, but I'm already excited for Superman. I'm currently singing Kryptonite by Three Doors Down. What Superman song do you love? And there needs a hero. That's the same song. I love that song.
I want to give some love. Three Doors Down, the lead singer just was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and came out announcing that they're not doing their tour. And I got a lot of love for Three Doors Down. So my heart goes out to that guy's family and he having the strength to get through it because, man, woo. But yeah, I got a lot of love for that song. I like Eminem's Superman, which is not as uplifting as many Superman songs.
No, it's not.
I'm also a fan of there was one more I had in mind. Damn. But yeah, those two are big too. Superman and Three Doors Down.
Yeah. I also like Lil Mo with Fabulous Superwoman. That is a great song. Used to listen to that a lot in middle school. But here we go, man. Derek Johnson. This is my favorite superhero song, Superman song. Derek Johnson. My son's first name, Derek Johnson. My second son's name, Derek Johnson. My third son's name, Derek Johnson. Corey's first child, Derek Johnson. The next child, DJ. The next child, DJJ. The next child, Derek Johnson. Support for the lovely gents from Mere Jam, Serenity Moon. My uncle, Derek Johnson. My cousin, Derek Johnson. My grandfather, Derek Johnson. My great-grandchild, Derek Johnson. My pastor, Derek Johnson. Mark Long comes in, man. GTA 6 trailer was incredible. The global workforce on that week will be pretty low, I think. I agree with that. I think a lot of people can be calling out sick that week.
Yeah.
They're going to be calling out sick for a while. But not my son, Derek Johnson, who's going to be going to work. It comes out next year. It's been pushed again for another year. I want to say till it's either March 28th or May 28th, something like that.
Okay, so it might be summer. I'm curious what movies that's because of the impact, like what it'll do for the the entertainment economy.
Yeah, and the other thing that I actually said that I thought that was almost not fair about it. If you're gonna do that bet, I feel like the unfair part about the video game is gonna get the whole actual year to put up its numbers. A movie's more or less as long as its shelf life in the theaters. So that's the other reason why it's actually not that fair of a bet. It's like, yeah, it probably will clear $2 billion over the course of a year versus, May 26, 2026. Thank you so much for our behind the scenes.
That's peak summer. That's crazy.
Yeah. They're like, we don't give a F. We taking your money.
That's going up against Doomsday, dude.
Yeah, it is. That's actually hilarious. Which is also hilarious is that my other cousin Derek Johnson came in and threw in $2 more. Ethan comes in and says the boys are running the show today. Yes, our homeboy Derek Johnson is indeed running the show.
He is doing the show. It's just the Derek Johnson show. We're just here for Derek Johnson.
We are just speaking for Derek. That's all that is, man. Brooklyn comes in. Support financial market being tripping this quarter. I wake up at 5 a.m. Cap 4 elevated cinema, diversify your bonds, FU gun, magazine dreams was sexy. What is happening?
I don't know what those words mean in that order, but those are words in order.
This is a very busy comment, but I love it. I love the support. If you want to explain it a little bit, I wake up at 5 a.m. Yeah, that sounds exhausting. Cap 4 elevated cinema. Was it though? It was fine. Diversify your bonds. I agree with that. Wu-Tang Financial. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang. What? The what? F you gun. Why? What a gun do to you? The magazine Dreams. Haven't seen it. Did you see it?
I want to. I haven't seen it. I think I'm reacting to it with Greg. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Word. Ethan comes in. Who would y'all like to see take over for Reeves? Reeves. Multiversal Reeves. That is essentially the same, but maybe he was born with a slightly different hair color. I don't know. Like I need the same visionary. Personally.
Matthew Reeves instead of Matt Reeves is who I want to see.
Yeah. Oh, and here we go. Luke gave a correction on his numbers for GTA 5. It says GTA 5 made $1 billion in the first 3 days of release.
Oh, dude.
That's crazy, man. You know what else is crazy? Derek Johnson, bro.
Okay, so now streets. My daughter gonna be Derek Johnson, and then if there's any,
hey, you know what? That's what I want to see take over from Matt Reeves. This man has vision. That's what I've learned today. Is Derek Johnson has vision. Connor comes back. Connor comes in. I'm pretty sure Avatar 3 is this year. That is correct. We did do that correction. Thank you for that. You know who else is taking over this year? Derek Johnson, bro.
And every
year, man. Eric Slaby. What do you think of Walker dropping the on your left line in Thunderbolts? Kind of fun that 3 caps with him, Steve, and Sam all said it. LOL. What do you think about it, man? I definitely noticed it.
Yeah, I think it's a cheeky way to do an Easter egg that is like, it wasn't like, it felt in place. It didn't feel out of nowhere. It felt like fitting, and I like that each of them have their own on your left moment. I dug it. Personally, it got a huge pop in the theater, and I enjoyed it.
It definitely felt like the Leonardo DiCaprio, like the whole, you know. Yep. Yeah, he said the thing. Who said the thing? You know what else is the thing? Derek Johnson, man.
Derek Johnson, the thing. He said the thing.
The thing, right? Ethan coming back in. Did y'all see Fallout Season 2 Wrapped? I can't wait.
I love Walton Goggins. That's all I know.
He's pretty great.
Walton Goggins goggles.
He is pretty great. So is Derek Johnson, bro.
Derek Johnson. He's the Walton Goggins of Capes and Cows.
I agree. And he comes in to say, okay, guys, I got you like 40 some of these. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's why you have so many of me and Koi's children named after you at this point, man.
Let him host SNL. Derek Johnson.
Absolutely. Eric Slaby, post Thunderbolts, a lot of people online still seem to hate Walker, which is odd because I thought he became more sympathetic and likable in the film. I mean, the funny thing is I genuinely was not vibing with him in the film, but by the time we got to the end, I was like, yeah, he's still an ass, but I like him now because now I'm kind of like, all right, there's been some redemption to who this person is and things like that. Because the truth was he left a horrible taste in my mouth in Falcon Winter Soldier, which was the point. But I love what Wyatt Russell did because U.S. Agent is supposed to be someone you don't like. Like it is definitely one of those characters that when you read him in comics, you're like, okay, in this moment, glad he was around. But most of the time, it's like, God, you asshole. Like Major Force is the same way. Major Force over in DC, it's like, dude, you're a prick. I hate you.
Major
you did the one thing this one
time. Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, like Major Force, like a monster.
Right. And again, John, even if you are quote unquote redeemed, now being a part of the New Avengers, the man murdered somebody literally all like on live television, on a live stream, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a certain level of, there's only so much, okay, sure, come on back in the fold that you're going to get. But I thought that they did a good job of making him have to come to terms with it. I thought that his depression moment of, here, hold on. I need this. Okay. Thunderbolts for like 15, 30 seconds here. Quick spoiler alert. I think going into his void moment and having to see him be an ass to his child because he's so obsessed with himself and then cussing out his wife and all that kind of stuff and finding out that now his family has abandoned him. I thought that that was such an important point for him to realize I've got to start to make some changes, and being with these people is what helped him kind of get to the other side. I mean, what do you think, man?
I agree, and I think that redemption and being redeemed are different. I think he had a redemption arc, but I think he's not. His actions weren't redeemed, and I thought it was really good to humanize a character, but making someone do good things doesn't make them a good guy. And I really liked that. I felt like they landed that. I felt the character was much more interesting because of the layers.
Absolutely, and on top of that, we could get to a point where we eventually get there. But if you think about it, we didn't automatically go, you know what, Loki, you're not so bad. It took movies upon movies, and we still didn't like him. And then it took a TV show where we didn't even get the original one that we had that we sort of liked now. We had another one that had to go on his own little journey to try and fully redeem himself. So this is the first step in his rehabilitation. If he continues to make sacrifices and go there, eventually we can get to the other side. But yeah, I think it was just a step in the right direction personally. But we're just not there yet. All right.
And what a great actor for being like a human Labrador, but then being that prick. Like
Absolutely.
Wyatt Russell's such an angel boy.
Absolutely, man. Ethan comes back in and says, who had the best performance in Thunderbolts? What do you think?
I think that Florence Pugh's was the most nuanced and layered for, like, she led that movie and it was an incredibly dense film. I think Lewis Pullman's a standout because he had to be introduced and have two performances and also be, you know, such an impactful role. But I don't think we should shortchange Wyatt Russell, like we just said, for being a puppy dog and also a prick simultaneously. I thought Hannah John Kamen really made a much more interesting
Coy, make a choice. You just said everybody. Make a choice, Coy. You get one.
Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster.
For then being on the press tour and just trying to keep her cool the whole time.
I'm going to go Florence Pugh, though, for real.
I'm actually going to go Pullman because I agree that the fact that we essentially got 3 split personalities out of him and he was able to pull it off so quickly and convincingly, like in between would switch very quickly, which I know obviously how films work. It's one of those situations where because we don't watch him the same shot every time, could have been like, okay, this take be Bob. Okay, this take be Sentry. Okay, this take be Void. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the way he was able to completely embody all 3. For me, was definitely the standard.
And all were interesting.
Exactly. None of them felt forced. They was all very interesting. Ethan coming in again. Anybody else have a man run into your theater and start chopping up onions in your face during Thunderbolts? No, just me. Weird. Damn, that sounds intense, man.
What a violent interaction.
Right. Paul Hitchcock, one of our members, thank you so much. Coy Hickman said Ultimate relaunch was meant for Donny Cates, as was Ultimate Spidey. Yo, Winston, when are we getting the Carl Winslow prequel series? Ha ha. Go ahead, man.
So Donny Cates is a friend. He had like a really bad head trauma that messed him up, and he had to reread his own books to remember them. Like he had a really rough health stuff for a while. He's doing better, but he had a plan. And you know, when you have a head trauma like that and life changes, only so much you can do. I really hope he gets back to a point where it's in the distant past, not the still working through. But I had a lot of love for that dude. I would have been fascinated to see what he did with Ultimates. I know it was a long, drawn out plan. Like, I think even planting seeds in his Venom stuff. Like, I think there was something there. But I love what they've been able to do with a new team. And I just wish Donnie the best. And hopefully, it all settles in and he wants to get back to writing and stuff. A lot of love for that dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Seattle KO, do you think they could start the mutant saga with loosely adapting an MCU-ifying God Loves Man Kills, or would you start trying to loosely adapt something else? What do you think, man?
I think God Loves Man Kills is a foundational story. I think it's been done, though. Like, I feel like we should not do the Phoenix in the first 3 movies, and I feel like we should probably not do...
Does God Love Man Kills include the Phoenix?
No, God Loves Man Kills is kind of the basis of the themes in the first trilogy of the Singer movies. I'm just saying the 2 things I don't want to see are William Stryker, God Loves Man Kills, or Phoenix. Those are the 2 that I'm like, there's some other stuff. So I think the concepts and themes of God Loves Man Kills are always going to be an X-Men, but I think the specificity of Stryker and those things we should avoid for a bit. So
I think what would be an interesting dynamic is pick a good Sinister story, and maybe if you want to start with Friends of Humanity.
Yeah, the Friends of Humanity I think is a great way to establish those tones.
Mm-hmm. And so you do that, and so then there's this weird thing that if Sinister obviously he's always talking about the genetic mutation, but he's always like, oh, I'm just trying to improve everything and like make everybody stronger. That could be actually a really interesting scenario where you have some mutants being like, not going the full Magneto route of like, we're going to go be part of the Brotherhoods of Evil, but they're like, I'm going to go sign up with Sinister because he can make me stronger so I can defend myself or something like that. I think
and that's such a long running villain. You can really like plant seeds and run them for a while.
DG comes in saying screwball. Appreciate it. Jason Ashcroft, a member. Hello. Hey guys, question for Coy. Has DC talked to you about what if you don't enjoy a movie? Can you review it if it's going to be a negative story? Not trying to stir the pot. Just curious how the business works.
So I appreciate not trying to stir the pot. I appreciate the caveat. I literally have a contract wherein I can talk about everything, but I made sure of it because basically, like that show comes out every 2 weeks. Spoiler alert for Los Angeles. It is not a cheap place to live. So I couldn't do the 90% of my job outside of DC if that stipulated that you know what I mean? So it was important in the contract that I didn't have any stipulations about what I could cover or not cover and how it's being covered. So basically, they haven't had a movie come out yet. So I haven't had an opportunity to test this. They also have only had one show, which I enjoyed. So I really like Creature Commandos. I loved and the Penguin, which they did take on, I think is one of the best shows in the comic book space. So I haven't really had that moment to see if they said, hey, you can say what you want. And then when I say it, they're like, because I loved both. I mean, it also helps that I have always been positive. If you check the 10 years of me doing this, I've always been like, hey, even if I don't like something, I'm going to talk about the stuff I did love. I rarely dive into the negatives. And if I don't love something, either I don't review it or I lean into the positives and mention the negatives at the end. So I've always been a front-loaded positivity person because I can't make these movies. I can't like do this art. So why would I tear it down for clicks? I'd rather raise it up, even if it's not my thing, it's someone's thing. So I will always be a positive person for any company and for anything that I took the time to spend 2 hours watching. I never want someone to not see a movie because of me. I'd rather someone go see a movie because of me. So I think that's
I get that. There was somebody that was tearing down Thunderbolts and just part of the standard kind of grift side of things, didn't have like real complaints. And a lot of the stuff they were complaining about, I was like, you would turn around and then compliment it in your next sentence. So that doesn't, you're clearly grifting. I would really prefer that people give stuff a shot themselves.
Same, dude.
And make an opinion for themselves. Cause I think part of our problem, hence even with the term, I know we are in that space and that's what we do, but like the term influencer, I hate that from the standpoint of that means that you are easily impressionable and you cannot form thoughts yourself. It's one thing to have somebody that maybe is like a thought provoker or like a debate, pusher, whatever it may be. If you're pushing people to use their brains and to think and to digest things and to muse on stuff, that's one thing. The idea of like, yeah, this thing sucks, and I'm gonna tell you why it sucks, and it sucks so bad. You're like, he says it sucks, so it must suck, man. I don't love that is kind of where we are now. We just let other people tell us what to do.
I've never not seen a movie in my life because of other people's opinions. I have gone to see a movie when people start talking about how great that is. Like, if I'm going to see something, I'm going to see it. But if something didn't catch my ear and I missed it, then I happily discover it. But like, it's weird that people opt out of things because of other people's who have different lives.
Yep, I agree. Alrighty. Jason Ashcroft, do you think we will ever see Moon Knight again?
It's funny. Greg and I had a long talk about this on our podcast that dropped this morning. I think that we'll see Moon Knight, but I don't know if we'll get a Moon Knight season 2. I think he'll be one of the Secret Wars. Like, oh my God, they got everyone back.
And I think if they ever get to Midnight Suns,
yeah,
he'll be prominent there. But yeah, no, I don't think we're getting a season 2. If that's the question. Tiptoe Cloud for the Blues Brothers. Thank you. Ethan coming back in. What are your anticipated movies at this moment? I mean, I said it up top that my anticipated movie of the year was Sinners, and God, how it deliver. That I have left now that Thunderbolts was my most anticipated superhero movie, which also delivered. Off rip, Superman. But as far as what's left, I would have to take a look at the whole schedule here because that's just the other big marquee. Him is the other one I would say because that's supposed to be this year, I believe too.
My biggest is Superman, and has been since the beginning of the year. I would go. I mean, The Accountant came out and I loved it. Sinners came out and I loved it. Like we're at an interesting point in the year where it's like I have seen a lot of the big ones, but there's still so much stuff that's not coming to mind. I'm looking forward to One Battle After Another, the new Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah, that's soon.
Yeah, that's Dogma Resurrected. They're doing a re-release. If you didn't know.
Yeah, they're torn. Kevin's torn it.
I am so excited about that.
28 Years Later is huge on my list.
Oh, okay.
I've seen How to Train Your Dragon. I can't talk about it, but
I was gonna say that's another one on my list. I'm actually kind of here for the F1 movie, and I saw the trailer for Megan 2. I'm not super thrilled about it, but I actually really love Megan, so I'll throw that in there.
Black Phone 2, very excited about Black Phone 2. I love the first one.
Okay, that's a. I don't have high hopes, I'm going to be honest, but Happy Gilmore too. I'm curious about that for sure.
I'm seeing Final Destination in 5.5 hours.
You're seeing it in 5.5 hours?
I'm so excited. I love those movies.
I need to rewatch them, man. I've seen a few of them. Mortal Kombat 2. I like the first one. I just hope that they are able to keep it going here.
I might be seeing a certain installment in a certain Impossible franchise Monday.
Look at me. I'm coy. I have all the hookups. Ethan comes back and says, rewatch Force Awakens with my girlfriend yesterday. I love that movie so much, but on rewatch, I get so annoyed with how they treated Boyega's character. I thought it was funny. He was kind of giving us this interesting nuance there. And then, yeah, they kind of took the rug out from under him. But that's a whole other longer conversation. Connor comes in and says, if I'm being honest, I like big butts and I cannot lie. In fact, I would say that you other brothers, you can't deny.
Girl walks in with an itty bitty thing. No, an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face. You get sprung.
I'm about to take yo black car. You don't have a black car. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Your street cred. You about to say it.
I immediately knew I was wrong and fixed it.
Itty bitty thing.
I misspoke. My pearls.
I think you're getting sick, Cole. You caught whatever I had through the microphone. Drew 914 comes in and says, hey, fellas, love the banter. Saw Thunderbolts this week and loved it. Wonder if it would have legs if word of mouth gets out. I mean, I think so. I do find it funny that they're about to lose some IMAX screens to
next week. They got 2 weeks.
That's okay. That's fair.
And I think that's respectable. I like that. 2 weeks, then Sinners, and I like that dance.
That's true. And then Luke comes back in and says, by the way, Lilo and Stitch is in 2 weeks, and that's definitely going to make $1 billion. That's a good point. That'll make $1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised if How You Train Your Dragon does too. That would be crazy.
It's going to be a huge summer.
I think so. Ethan comes in. Y'all hear that Alex Garland is making an Elder Ring movie? Is he really?
I love Alex Garland. That's exciting. That
would be interesting. Andrew Carn says, do you think we get a Lex battle suit in the next trailer? I thought we got like a little tip of one previously. I hope they don't. Do that.
I want to say if it's in the movie, I don't want to see it in the trailer.
I need them to chill out on don't reveal anything else. The rest of these trailers need to be only a footage we've already seen, but if you want to throw in an announcer being like, be there for the movie of the year. Like if that's what you want to do, cool. But do not show me any more of this film. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That would be a massive mistake. And you already have people that are ready to go on this. So don't do it. Armada. Winston, can you do a Steve Harvey impression? I haven't heard his voice in a very long time, so I'm going to say no. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is he's like, name something you want your woman to do to your face. Sit on it, Steve. Sit on it! Yeah! But I'll work on a Steve Harvey impression, and I'll come back to you. We'll make a note, man. I need to hear his voice a little bit, and then I can try and come back. Corn Emperor. Support backwards. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Corn Emperor saying Derek Johnson for the win. America Arenas coming in. I got here super late, but got to see the chaotic conversation from GTA, Beyonce to Seventh Heaven. You guys are awesome. I think that's why we occasionally get to do this, is because we will just go off the rails every now.
We bring a different energy, frankly.
Absolutely. I mean, half the conversation was really just about Derek Johnson and all the support he was throwing in, man.
I mean, it is Derek Johnson's show. We're just living in it.
We are just living in it, man. Elusive Rock coming in saying, who will we see on the big screen first? The Flash in the DCU or Dupe in the MCU? Derek Johnson.
I think not only has Derek Johnson become the Sal of this episode,
he really has become Sal Saperstein at this point.
Because now even other super chats are calling him out.
Right.
I think Flash before Dupe, but I love that question because both are likely.
Yeah. Is Dupe really likely, man?
I think that he's in the comics again. I think he's back to being like a weird fan favorite. And I think that Marvel's smart and they're going to throw him in the background and then like bring him in.
I have a question. Do you think that what actually ends up happening with Doomsday, now that you're bringing up the comics, based off of the line that's running right now, do you think that Doom is actually become Sorcerer Supreme here? And that's what's going on.
I mean, that's such a huge thing in the comics that I imagine they'll play with it, like God Emperor Doom, Doom Sorcerer Supreme. Like, I think they're going to play with these elements because of how prevalent it is and how much they've made it a big deal in the comics. I'd love to see it to tie in, and I could easily see that being a factor.
And that's also how you can, if Benedict needs a little mini break or something, you can put him on the bench by being like, yeah, I'm Sorcerer Supreme now, sit down. Which I guess it's technically Wong right now anyway.
Yeah.
So never know. And then maybe that's how we get back to Strange becoming Sorcerer Supreme, is he takes the title away from Doom,
and then it's a whole thing. Yeah, I can see that.
Don Ronaldo McWhiskey with the support. Thank you. Crystal coming in with the support saying, it's Mike and Roka we beat that 1 week. Couldn't let them win, especially Roka. LOL. Serious note, though. How do you think these tears will affect Hollywood? Feel sorry for the industry, especially still recovering after the strike and COVID. If they're serious about it, it doesn't necessarily spell anything good. The thing that you actually need to do is you need to have what has kind of been going on in California right now with Newsom trying to put together some legitimate incentives to bring work back to California. I think it's wild. I know, Coy, you obviously you're out here too, and you've been on plenty of studio lots. It's wild to think that these lots, you know, even when we first got out here, full, every single one of those sound stages being used for God knows how many different productions, and how now you would go on those studio lots and maybe one or two of those. You
used to have to book out months in ahead. Like now it's not that.
So I think that is a better plan of anything else, is make it more attractive to continue to have stuff here. So you don't need to go to Vancouver. So you don't need to go to London and New Zealand and everything else. And you're only traveling because you want to shoot on location for something, not because the incentives are so good in these other cities and countries that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that is the real answer. Not tariffing it. That's not going to help anything whatsoever. So yeah. Mike Joyce, you think we will get a Blues Brothers remake with the Pope being from Chicago? This time they really could be on a mission from God. That's, bro, I want to delete Twitter so bad, but yesterday is a reason why you don't do it. Like, did you see the jokes? Everything from deep dish Pope to people being like, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. There is a fantastic what do you call a blue sky? It's not a tweet, obviously. What do you call it?
A post.
Is it just a post?
Is it a cloud? I don't know. I'm not on it.
It just doesn't really hit the same one way or the other. But this right here, someone said, feels like this was the music they should have used to announce him. I don't want to play too much because I don't want to get his copyright stricken, but are you familiar with that?
I know that theme. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that. Also, hype music for the Pope. Bring it.
Absolutely, man. Then we got Sanjix Nam. Thoughts on the Bolts box office concerns and the rebrand? I mean, there was an immediate bump on Tuesday from them doing the rebrand. They went up like 47% off of Monday, which was pretty big. But yeah, there's a little concern about what happens this week. I mean, this is you have to pull as much as you can this week because then you're running up against competition going forward. What do you think, man?
I think I think it's a really smart rebrand because to me it shows confidence in Thunderbolts. I think it shows confidence in the film that they didn't just call it that first title. It got to rest on its own thing. I think it's a $1 billion name that they didn't use, which to me is confidence. So I think it's smart to have the second bracket have something to hold up for and have it in a cool way in the story. So I love everything about it top to bottom. I think it's going to have a great second bracket because it's good and because of word of mouth and because of this thing. So it also, I think it's the right step in a lot of ways for Marvel's marketing. So I dug it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Andrew Carnes, number 1. If DC asked you to write a comic and you could choose any character, who would you choose?
Kyle Rayner.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've always wanted to make so Green Lantern's cool to me because the constructs and like the imagination. And to me, comics are about art, and Kyle Rayner's an artist that uses that graphic design sensibility in his power. So it's like infinite possibility, and it's kind of like this celebration of art in a comic. And so I think the idea of infinite imagination as a power is fun. So I do a Kyle Rayner comic.
I would do a Static Shock Blue Beetle, like a Jaime Reyes, like team up the way that you would see the Heroes for Hire. I would make them as a team up and have them kind of go on misadventures as these, teenagers trying to figure it out, man, and so the dating and the being the superhero and all that kind of stuff. I think that would be an awesome comic. And then number 2, rumor is that Hickman could jump to DC. Who'd you like to see him write?
Oh, he's so good. Mr. Miracle, obviously. He adds a lot of psychology and depth and darkness, and that's a very dark character. It's a reach, but I'd love to see him write Sandman. It'd be cool to see a darker psychological take on Animal Man with the planet dying.
Dude, I'm surprised that Animal Man and Poison Ivy have never like fallen in love. I feel like they would actually be like fun. That would be a really fun Animal Man kind of go slightly eco-terrorist with Poison Ivy. That would be very interesting in my opinion. But
the chat saying The Question, Batman, and New Gods. I like all of those.
Ooh.
I did say Mr. Miracle, which is my New God anchor, but yeah, I love all of those.
No, fair. Sunday Joe, hey guys, will Doom be a character in Fantastic Four, not a cameo?
Seems to me they're making it more about the MCU than the FF, which isn't my thing. I'm not thrilled, but I hope he's in it a lot.
Does it feel that way?
I mean, they cast the guy that's going to look like the main core of the original first 3 phases. Like he's not announced as, an impact of FF. He's not the main villain. He's got there's Galactus and Silver Surfer. Sure. I don't feel like his relationship with Reed is going to be nearly as important as it should be.
Well, that I agree with.
So I don't feel like he'll be in the movie enough, in my opinion.
Okay, got it. Okay, now I see what you're saying. I was just like, I don't necessarily think that the movie immediately reads that way. No pun intended. I'm putting myself in timeout. I'm not even going to finish that thought. I'm going to let you read
this that way, eh?
I'm going to let you read this one. I'm putting myself in timeout.
So we got next up because Winston did a far worse pun. Aloha, gents. Mom doesn't like gory films, though does enjoy timepieces and From Dusk Till Dawn and comedic violence. Is Sinners for her? Sinners is certainly bloody. Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. Now it's a Sinners question. It's like, I will not let this stand.
Taking myself out of timeout.
Immediately, I'm jumping back in. I think Sinners is bloody, but I think it's manageable. I think it's gory, but tactfully, it doesn't get
it's not a lot.
It doesn't go beyond what works for the film where it feels grotesque. I think it works.
I'm trying to think. There are
just bloody mouths
maybe 4 or 5 gory moments. I think most of them happen in the main action scene. You have a moment when we're building up to it with a jump scare that you kind of see coming. If we're being honest, it's the without getting into it, it's the hand moment. You know what I'm talking about? That's a little gory. Again, the final battle. I would say the big turn from Act 2 into Act 3 with one of the main characters.
Yep.
Gory, but then that's it. It's really not that bad. It's in there because it's a horror movie and it's a vampire movie, but it's not that bad. Shout out to Richard for becoming a new member. Thank you so much for joining, Rich. And thank you for that question. And and/or another. Bucky quoted Kierkegaard in Thunderbolts, life can only be understood looking backwards. You guys think this homework era of MCU will have a longer shelf life from new audience post Secret Wars?
I think that they've had more hits than misses overall, and I think that Phase 5 was about equal, and I think that going forward they're going to be back in there. I think they're going to be back in their bag. So I think on the long zoom out of Marvel, the era where there was a pandemic and a strike and a giant fire, like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for like 5-10 years. I think after that era, everything's going to be better. So I think we'll look out with some zoom out strongly. Yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Richard, wow. So you just assume all black dudes look like? That was me on Pictionary. I'm not even going to try and make you feel bad about nothing. That was definitely me on Pictionary. Thank you. It was that, and if you watch the whole episode, the cool part was did actually win a trip to Antigua. I got to take that. I think that was last year. May have been last. No, it was 2023 because it was. I had just finished my surgeries with my broken leg, and I was walking around in the walking boot while I was down there. That was wild, man. Being on the beach, and you would think the beach. Ooh, I'm taking some of the weight out of, being on cement, where it's just like putting pressure on all of that. The sand at times was actually harder because you don't have any footing, so you would sink. So you would have to put more force in your leg to move. Oh man, that was wild. But yes. Definitely on an episode of Pictionary. I think it's still on YouTube too, if y'all want to go find it and laugh at my drawings. Derek Johnson, Superman himself, coming in saying, movie conspiracy. Bad guy in Fast and the Furious over the past few movies is Jesse, only one who they let die in the first movie and never rescued. He's a genius.
I love that so much. I love that. I actually love that so much, Derek Johnson. I'm worried that if that isn't the case, how upset I'll be. You've given me one of those things that I love so much. I'm like worried, dude. I think him and Cole Hauser need to team up to take on the family. Cole Hauser from 2 and Jesse from 1. Love this.
We hungry. Zeus Fleming.
But we got Jesse no more.
Exactly, right? Zeus Fleming. Is it possible that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is from John Krasinski's Reed universe?
I don't know if they're really going to dive into that world of multiverse Reeds because of it's possible. I'm not sure what their next steps are. So anything's possible, but we'll see.
Yeah, that is true. We've got 2 more. R, who asks, Winston, how do you feel about Pickens in Dallas? I think it's a great pickup. I am concerned because the issue with Pickens isn't always necessarily his talent. Sometimes it could be his effort. And the main thing is his more, it's not necessarily off the field, but it's essentially off the field / on the field temper tantrums. And so the idea is that I don't have faith in Schottenheimer that he seems like he's this great leader. Maybe he is, but he's a rookie head coach that had never been upped from a coordinator for a very long time. So I don't know how I feel about the coach yet. So I don't know if he can whip Pickens into shape. I don't look at Dak, and Dak never screams to me, "Hey man, get your shit together." The only thing I see for Pickens that's a possible positive is, say what you will about Dak, he is a light years better quarterback and how he plays over anybody that he's had. And this isn't peak Russell Wilson. This was Russell Wilson now, who is kind of on his last legs for the last few years here, not the Super Bowl talent. So if Pickens really does become that true number 2, that's a very dangerous team now, and we can keep up with the Eagles and the Commanders. But I am looking at his behavior that worries me a little bit. But I'm glad that they did something. They needed to. Mike Joyce giving the shout out to my Reptar shirt, and we did have one more come in from Ryan S, who says, been watching the Dark Knight trilogy. I always felt Bale's Batman being in the DCEU would have elevated things, including the box office. Thoughts?
I think it would have been amazing, but I don't think he was ever interested. I think that I think there's an element of shared universe that is such an obligation. It's so much time that an actor like Christian Bale might not have wanted that. I think Gore was a great one-off villain potentially that didn't execute. I think he came to Marvel because he was like, oh, I'll be a villain and that's it, just one. I don't think he would have had much interest in doing something for 15 years in the same character. The amount of work he puts out in indies and more, varied roles. Batman is so multifaceted, but it's still playing the same guy. So I feel like it would have been awesome, but it was in a different era where this wasn't as common. So, and I also just think for the man himself, not the thing he'd want.
I would like to see him return to it once, but again, I'm talking about when we get to like a crisis situation, and you know, he comes in if down the line somewhere, same thing with the crisis scenario, if that's where we get a Batman Beyond, because it feels like Keaton's done most likely at this point, and we're going to be far away from that anytime soon. If he wanted to do that, he is so good at playing such range. He could definitely play a crotchety old Bruce Wayne. And I think that could be really interesting. But I don't think that would have been the right move. I think that we would have lost out on a lot of good work from him, because I'm trying to think some of the other stuff that came out from him since Dark Knight Rises.
Reign of Fire alone between Batman and Dark Knight. I need my Reign of Fire.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But like, he did Batman for 10 years. If he was only doing Batman, like,
no, exactly. So let's see. Let me American Hustle. Loved that. Let's see. The Big Short. Loved him in that. Loved him in Vice. Loved him in Ford versus Ferrari. You could miss me with Amsterdam, but I personally, while I may not have loved Love and Thunder, I love what he did with Gore. And the fact that when you look back at Love and Thunder now, there's a minor bit of redemption in his portrayal of what's going on there, because of when you look at like Luigi Mangione now. So this idea of like the people being like, I'm done with, you know, the either, if not the gods, the oligarchy, just telling me what I'm going to do, and I'm begging you for help and you won't. I think there was something really peak Christian Bale acting in that moment, but obviously the movie itself is a different conversation. But anyways, Matt Thomas coming in. We got two more, and I know we got to get out of here soon. Gonna do with something different. What are your favorite shoes of all time? Mine are Jordan 1s and Kyrie 1s. Though his Antas are cool too, though. Do you have a favorite shoe?
I'm a Converse guy. I wear a lot of Chucks. I've always liked Chuck Taylors because they're both like elevated and streetwear. Like, you can dress them up, dress them down. I recently got a current favorite pair of shoes. My fiance got me some Childish Gambino design New Balances that are so dope.
Gambino got some New Balances?
Dude, they're like 5 years old. She had to get them like off a street shoe site. They're fire, dude. I wore them to the Thunderbolts red carpet for the first time. I love them.
These are the most Donald Glover shoes I've ever seen.
You can tell he designed it. And I've been on a yellow kick, so like they're my jam. Even the box is gorgeous. I love those shoes.
Wow, man. That's actually good for him. I had no idea he did that. That's kind of dope.
The fiance probably has a stylist got taste.
Yeah, probably Air Force Ones. Nelly got me early when that song came out, and then I saw what they look like, and I was like, these are pretty fire. R comes back in. Feels like if Tomlin's moved on, that says a lot. Yes and no, only because you got to remember, when Tomlin moves on from a receiver, yes, there are definitely some issues there, but think about all those receivers that then went on and did big things. So, like, let go of Juju. Juju ended up with the Chiefs, won a Super Bowl, and, like, helped contribute to that. Moved on from Antonio Brown. Clearly lost his mind, but went down long enough to go win a Super Bowl. Like, a lot of the receivers he lets go, minimal shelf life there. They can kind of get something out of him for a second, but you know, there's still something in the tank one way or the other. But and then Andrew Carnes with the last one for right now. Theory: the sunlight is hurting Superman in that 5-minute teaser, because if the movie follows All-Star Superman, he's been overexposed to the sun. Maybe, but my only problem with that is when you think about All-Star Superman, that became a death sentence. It was you now have super cancer. Yeah, you have super cancer. The sun might be
overexposed to speed up his healing, and that's causing his muscles and bones, and like everything's going to be hurting. His healing rapidly is going to hurt, and there may be an element of the sun being so strong because they show how much it's up. The robots talk about it, but I don't think he's overexposed to the same scale as All-Star.
Yeah, because the flip side of it is, like, I agree with you with maybe the healing factor, which honestly seems like a more appropriate thing. It just may not hurt quite as bad as, like, say, dealing with a broken leg for real, because like that takes time, and so you can keep re-agitating or anything else. You're taking a months-long process and doing it in like 2 minutes.
Ow. You're
still feeling that pain. It's still regrowing. It just, you don't have to wait months. So those 2 minutes are hell, but then you're good, you know? So and that, here we go. We got two more. The Richards art. Does Near Dark 1987 Bigelow compared to Sinners. I don't know that movie. Do you?
I've never seen Near Dark. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Richard. I'm not familiar with that movie. And then Matt Thomas comes back. Winston, are you gonna get the Air Force Ones that get cleaner as you wear them? I thought, WTF when they announced them. What?
They literally
I've never
they
heard
come
of
out
that.
dirty, and then as you wear them, they scuff up cleaner. I don't understand the science.
I've never heard of this.
They just
Dirty
announced-
triple white Air Force Ones are supposed to get what? What the hell? This sounds ridiculous.
I don't know the science.
I don't either, but I'm kind of intrigued. Like, what the hell? Maybe if that's a real thing. All right. Well, that is going to be all the questions again for now. We got to gear up to get out of here. Coy, tell them what you got going on and where you at, man. Oh, hold on. Mike says Lucasfilms needs to get their what? Oh, why did that pop up? We already saw that.
That was the last one.
That is weird. What? Why is this still here? What is happening? Wait a minute. We did see that. I apologize. I don't know why because you see it too, right? It's just stuck there.
Yeah, I don't know. When we close, it'll go away.
Oh, got it. Nope, never mind. This was from
Last
yesterday. Time. Okay, got it. Okay, so what am
no,
I?
This was talking about Andor. This was earlier. Either way, we talked about it.
Well, there's a second part to it. So Lucasfilm needs to get their act together. Level writing. I don't want the same tone as Andor, but we need the quality of writing. Then followed up, which was better, Luthen season 1 speech or Mon Mothma's Senate speech?
I connected more to the Senate speech because it felt like it was today's news.
Fair.
Like it was. I love Luthen's speech, but this one was like, oh my god, this timing of what, like they filmed this a year ago. And then the last one from Richard's art, Near Dark, was Kat Bigelow's first film with Tangerine Dreams, STDKR, and the cast of Aliens married to Cameron in the time. That's fascinating. Yeah, they were married at the time, so that I will check that out. That sounds fantastic. You can find me on my YouTube. I'm almost at 50K. I'm so close. We're at like 46 and some change. We're getting there. So head on over to my YouTube. I cover currently The Last of Us, covering Andor, covering weekly comics, 50 to 70 comics a week. I give you my favorite 9 plus all the comic book news. So movies, TV, and comics all over on my page. You can also find me on DC High Volume, which is a Batman radio play that I'm very proud to be doing interviews for, talking to the voice actors, the people behind the scenes, the writers, artists, all of that over at DC.com, as well as DC Studios Showcase, a show talking about all things coming out of DC Studios. We had actors on this and last week, more to come as we approach Superman. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Check that out every other Friday on HBO Max, as well as their YouTube over there. You can also find me on Real Rejects, where I do a podcast with Greg every Friday morning before this show. We film it on Thursdays, it airs Friday bright and early, as well as my reactions to movies and trailers and TV over there. Also find me at Koicast, my podcast, with merch like this that drops every single week. I do a patron pod, and every other week I do a regular form podcast. Stream it wherever you get your pods, and you can find me at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and another bunch of things I'm ramping up to get panels for. I have too many jobs, and I appreciate you guys watching any of them.
I need your adrenal gland. I don't know how you have time to do all that, man. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all the platforms. I did put out a Blurred breakdown yesterday. If you want to check out I talk about the Thunderbolts. I talk about Hawkeye. I talk about the Diddy case, which is now underway. So definitely don't miss that. When I get done here, I'm going to quickly edit out and drop for you the my reaction to Peacemaker season 2. Didn't get a chance to edit it before we got started today, so you can see that in real time. I have been doing a lot of streaming as far as me playing games and shooting the shit with y'all and like hanging out and stuff like that. So definitely come through. We have a good time. That's what we even came up with. We had the big debate about Grand Theft Auto versus all those movies. So check that stuff out. And then the main thing, obviously, where I've been kind of gone right now, I've been working on a movie. I will be wrapping at the end of next week. I'm actually on vacation next week, so I'm going to try and put a few things out, but I may be gone. But I wrap at the end of next week. And so then we'll be able to get back to business as usual. So with that, y'all, thank you so much for watching Capes and Cows, for holding it down for us today on the show, for Derek Johnson, our all-knowing God, for getting us to the other end of this whole thing. And we are going to get up out of here, y'all. Shout out to everybody in I was about to say the neighborhood. I think I'm on the wrong show, man. I think my sickness is coming back. I'm just going to hit the outro. Bye.